Hello, I'm Tom Casababian. This is the July 1968 issue of Car Life magazine, which has a four-page article featuring my 1965 Corvair Turbo. A year earlier, in 1967, I had set a new two-way land speed record of 156.9 miles per hour, and now the people at Car Life magazine wanted to see for themselves what the overall performance of this Corvair really was. When they finally returned my car after 4 days and 500 miles of thrashing, I could easily say that they drove the wheels off the car, because the rear tires were completely worn out to the point where the tire casing was exposed on both tires. To say the least, they were extremely impressed with the performance they experienced from this Corvair. Remember, at this time, the introduction of the Porsche Turbo was still 8 or 9 years away, and it would be 10 years or more before the Saab and the Honda turbo models were introduced. At this point in time, very few passenger cars, including muscle cars and even the cars featured on the cover of this magazine, could duplicate the acceleration, top speed, and handling that they saw behind the wheel of this Corvair Turbo. This is the first page of the Car Life article, and it shows my Corvair starting its first run for the new record, heading down the 3-mile course. You can see the vast openness that the Salt Flats provides for the time trials. Now this is the beginning of Car Life's write-up. The photo at the top shows me driving the car at Riverside Raceway during a high-speed autocross event where I took first place in the 3-liter modified class 2 years in a row. Below is a photo of my Corvair motor, which was only 164 cubic inches in size and internally stock, except for the special Iskandarian camshaft. The main modifications were the larger turbocharger, which was a vintage air research unit, and the 4-barrel carburetor, which replaced the 1-barrel factory setup. The muffler was located in the engine compartment, because when I raced the car at Bonneville, the exhaust went directly from the turbocharger to the opening previously occupied by the backup light. So I just installed a muffler in between those 2 points. I also added a wastegate to the exhaust system in order to reduce the boost pressure from 25 psi to around 12 psi. I figured it wouldn't hurt to reduce the engine power a little during the Car Life testing. Now the water injection system holding tank was made from an empty beer pony keg given to me by a friend, and I'm still using it today. If the intake system looks a little crude, that's because I had only a short time to get the car ready for Bonneville, and I had to use whatever I could find to get everything hooked up. The rubber hoses connecting the compressor output to the engine, for example, came from a 1960 Corvair air cleaner. The interior photo shows 2 clusters of instruments, one for the driver and one for the 8mm movie camera mounted on the roll bar. We didn't have digital cameras or smartphones in those days. There is one correction, though, to the comments on the photo at the drag strip. The smoking rear tires were only 9 inches wide. Now this is the last page from the article and the performance chart with all the test results. The following page has an enlarged view of the data chart. Now here are the performance results and the technical data from the test. The acceleration numbers aren't quite accurate because the mechanical accelerometers that they used in those days couldn't keep up with the actual acceleration rates of modern high-performance cars. John McKibben, the technical editor of Car Life who tested my car, told me that the 0 to 60 times for my car was probably a full second shorter than the time that was recorded. Now, all the performance testing was performed at Orange County Raceway, where they have a drag strip and a road course. You can see from the performance chart that my Corvair at the quarter mile turned 105 miles per hour in just under 13.4 seconds, and from a standing start to 120 miles an hour in just 17.5 seconds. This proves that you don't need a big V8 engine in the back seat to get muscle car performance from a Corvair. In fact, the 140 mile per hour top speed was easily obtained even with the smaller street tires on the car. Now here's some interesting information about John McKibben. John was a mechanical engineer who previously worked for Chrysler on their gas turbine project and was very active in drag racing for many years. In 1971, John set a new one-way motorcycle land speed record at Bonneville of 287 miles per hour, riding the Honda Hawk Streamliner motorcycle, which was powered by two turbocharged four-cylinder motorcycle engines. Now, this photo is not from the Car Life article. It was taken by a photographer, George Calloway, standing near the 3-mile finish line on my return run for the new record. My speed at this point was a little over 160 miles per hour. So what is it like to drive a Corvair at 160? Well, you can forget what Ralph Nader would say. I focused most of my attention watching the instruments. The Corvair found its own way down the course. Now this page is the editorial column from the Car Life magazine. They did everything they could to try to save the Corvair. Now this is a photo of Ralph Nader, taken at the National Corvair Convention in Washington, D.C. a few years ago, where he was the principal speaker. He is sitting behind the wheel of a Corvair convertible, and it looks to me like he's enjoying himself, doesn't it? Thank you for watching my video.